She left her husband because he was poor. But 3 years later, she was the one begging him for help. Daniel and Emma had been married for 5 years. They didn't have much. They lived in a tiny apartment, shared one old car, and sometimes had to choose between paying a bill and buying groceries. But Daniel loved Emma deeply. Every morning, he woke up before sunrise and worked long hours at a small construction company. He always told her, "One day, I'll give you the life you deserve." Emma used to smile, but slowly. She stopped believing him. Then Emma met Richard. Richard was everything Daniel wasn't. He drove an expensive car, he wore designer suits, he owned several businesses and lived in a massive mansion. And unlike Daniel, Richard could buy Emma anything she wanted. At first, Emma hid their relationship, but eventually, Daniel discovered the truth. He confronted her with tears in his eyes. "Emma, after everything we've been through?" She looked away. "I can't spend the rest of my life struggling, Daniel." Daniel's heart shattered. Then she said the words he would never forget, "I've chosen Richard." Daniel didn't fight her, he didn't insult her, he simply packed his clothes into one small suitcase. Before walking out, he looked at Emma and said, "I hope you find what you're looking for." Emma thought she had just escaped poverty. She moved into Richard's mansion. She had expensive clothes, luxury vacations, fancy restaurants, and everything money could buy. Meanwhile, Daniel disappeared. For months, Emma heard nothing about him. And she didn't care, or at least, that's what she told herself. But Richard wasn't the man Emma thought he was. After the wedding, his attitude changed. He became controlling. He constantly reminded Emma that everything belonged to him. Then one morning, Richard's business collapsed, millions of dollars disappeared, his companies were investigated, his accounts were frozen, and within weeks, the mansion was gone. The luxury cars were gone, the expensive lifestyle was gone. Richard couldn't handle losing his wealth. One night, he disappeared without telling Emma where he was going. Emma was suddenly alone. With nothing, desperate, Emma began looking for work. One afternoon, she walked into a large technology company for a job interview. She entered the executive office and froze. Behind the desk was Daniel, but this wasn't the Daniel she remembered. He wore a perfectly tailored suit. Behind him was a wall displaying awards and photographs of a rapidly growing company. Emma couldn't speak. Daniel looked at her calmly. "Emma?" She lowered her head. "Daniel, I need your help." Daniel could have humiliated her. He could have reminded her of the day she abandoned him. Instead, he quietly asked, "What happened?" Emma began crying. "I thought money would make me happy." Daniel looked at her for a long moment. Then he said, "Money can change your lifestyle, Emma. But it can't change someone's heart." Emma realized something terrible. While she was chasing Richard's wealth, Daniel had spent those years rebuilding his life. The small construction company he worked for had noticed his talent. He eventually started his own business, and through hard work, patience, and determination, he became incredibly successful. Daniel offered Emma a job not because he wanted revenge, but because he refused to become bitter. Emma accepted, and from that day forward, she learned the lesson she had once ignored: never abandon someone who loves you just because they don't have money, because sometimes, the person you reject when they're struggling is the very person you may one day need. And that was the day Emma discovered that karma doesn't always destroy you. Sometimes, karma simply makes you watch the person you abandoned become everything you never believed they could be. If you were Daniel, would you have forgiven Emma? Tell me in the comments.